Hi everyone, welcome. So glad you could join us today. I'm Inakshi from Revv Growth, and I'll be your host for this session. We are living through a real shift in how people search and discover brands online, right? AI tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's AI Overviews are changing the game. And for B2B SaaS brands, getting cited by these tools is quickly becoming the new SEO. To help us make sense of what's actually working, we have Shalini Murthy with us, our content and SEO director who has been deep in this space and brings some sharp, actionable perspective for SaaS marketers and growth teams. So, if you have been wondering how to show up in AI generated answers and stay visible in this new search landscape, you are exactly in the right place. Before we dive in, a few quick things to note. Feel free to drop your questions via chat box available on your screen throughout the session, and we will answer your questions on the go. We also have a Q&A at the end of the sessions. In case if any questions goes unanswered, we'll be very sure to send you an email addressing the questions. And if you can't catch everything today, don't worry. The recording will be available, and after the session, we will also send it across to you via email. Over to you, Sharon.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Anakshi. So, without further delay, let me quickly get into the webinar. I'm just going to share my screen. So, I understand that a lot of you are here to talk about AEO, GEO, how to get inside AI answers. So, before we even go into the details of how to do that, first you need to understand whether you are a part of these conversations. So, what my suggestion is, open up any LLMs, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, or anything. Type your core use case. Like, for example, if you are a marketing agency, you can probably say marketing agency in India. Okay. And check if your brand is being cited as a solution. That's the first thing you need to do right now, because you need to understand whether you are even a part of the answers. If you are, then well and good, you're doing something really very well. If you are not, then that's where this webinar is going to help you. And if you are the third kind who you feel like, hey, what's even happening, then I'm sure this webinar will help you tremendously. So with that, let's quickly get into the presentation. Initially, what was happening in the beginning, post 2024, even before pre 2024, you know, citations were like, they were optional. But right now, buyers are shortlisting vendors through AI. They don't even visit your website at a lot of times. Okay, right now, AI overviews, almost 1 out of 4 Google searches come up in AI overviews. And since January 2026, that's 92% up. Okay. And 90% of almost B2B buyers are either using ChatGPT, Perplexity, or some other LLMs during vendor research. And almost 60% of researches, they don't even end with a click, because they get the answer right there in Google. So it's not like the shift is slowly happening, it's already happened, and it's also costing you deals that you probably don't think you're even losing. Okay. For us here at Rev Growth, we identified this gap and we were able to close almost 28.3K dollar worth of deals, organic value deals in 6 months. For you, it could be more than that. It could be 10 million, 50 million ARR. It could, you could 10x that. So that depends on completely your values. Now, with that, let's go into the next slide. Right. So initially, what was happening? Yes, the funnel was linear. People used to rank, then they used to have some click, then they used to convert. So basically, you control the narrative of the domain. So if you are able to rank your content, there is a high possibility that you would be able to convert. But right now, the new funnel is not that way. AI gives the answer first. Your brand either gets mentioned or it doesn't get mentioned. If it gets mentioned, then good. If it doesn't, you don't even enter the consideration set. You're not even considered. The buyer shortlists 3 competitors, they book a demo, they make a decision based on the AI recommendations. And you would probably not even know that you are not even there in the consideration set if you are not coming up on that AI answers. So McKinsey says that almost 50% of search traffic is at risk, which is like almost half of your traffic. Now, the biggest risk is not just the traffic. Are you in the consideration set? That's what is the biggest risk. Now, let me tell you 3 terms that I think probably you've been hearing a lot. First one is SEO. You rank higher in search results. Now you have something called as AEO, answer engine optimization, which is you should be the answer that AI uses. Third one is generative engine optimization. You should be cited by the AI platforms. See, none of this is replacing SEO. If that's what you are thinking, then you're sorely mistaken, because Google just published a official report just 2 days ago, where they're saying they're not even giving out terms like AEO, GEO. They are still using SEO. So AEO, GEO, everything, for everything, you need to have a good SEO in place, which is search engine optimization. Okay. So now that I've covered this, let's go to the next slide. So in the next slide, I'm going to tell you a few hacks, tactics that people use. These are black hat tactics that people use to get on top of these AI answers. I strongly don't recommend them. And if some agency or somebody or anybody, even you feel that, hey, let me do this to get on top, I'd strongly recommend against it, because over a point of time, your brand reputation is going to be damaged, your traffic will be damaged, your conversion will be damaged ultimately. So let's quickly go ahead to the next. Now you would have probably heard all these whispers. Okay, let's do this. Let's do mass produce AI content. Let's try to do something else. We will get cited by AI. Doesn't actually work. So the first black hat tactic that people use is company use AI to generate hundreds, like, at this point, not even hundreds, thousands of answer style pages, blogs. They're targeting every possible query variation. Okay, they spin up, private blogs. They buy cheaper networks, right? And they try to link to each other. They basically, what they try to do is they try to flood the retrieval space. See, their theory is, if you create enough content, AI has to pull the content from you. There's no other choice for them, because you are literally uh, writing content for every possible query variation, right? Query variation. So there's no way AI can miss it. But this is what exactly CNET did. uh, this happened in 2023. They flooded the retrieval space with all possible query variations, almost 70 plus of AI generated articles. And this actually led them to a downfall. Wikipedia downrated them to an unreliable website. Then they were already trying to sell. They were in the negotiation terms, but because of this, because of severe reputational damage, it became almost impossible to uh, sell this company. Okay, so that was a big drawback for them. Then there's a second one, okay, where uh, creating synthetic author personas. Like they don't, this person is not even alive. This, like, it's just there. They're an imaginative person with fabricated credentials. They don't have any credentials. They buy fake reviews, okay, and generating, let's say, expert commentary that actually did not happen at all. Some some agencies, some companies also even use AI to generate these author headshots, like full biographies. These guys have full biographies also, and this is what happened with Forbes. Okay, Press Gazette actually exposed 4 fake financial journalists who published 1,000 plus articles through a PR firm. AI headshots, there was no external footprint. Imagine you're going to Forbes and you're actually thinking you're reading from an expert, but they are not even expert. They are just fake people with fake credentials, fake everything. So you're not reading from. So Forbes is now becoming uh, unreliable. Okay, what happened was their credibility was destroyed. Okay, so these are all a few hacks. These are two of the hacks that I just discussed, which basically brought their company down. Now I'm also very, very hesitant to go check out Forbes as an external source, because who knows what they've written, if it's even true. Okay, now let's go to the other threats. Okay, so the next one is when AI crawler, like let's say GPT bot or a Claude bot, visits your website. What you do is you kind of serve different content than what a reader would see. Okay, this is more like a cloaking, basically like a cloaking. Okay, so when AI bot comes in, the kind of questions and the kind of content, the kind of, you know uh, that AI bot sees is very different from what you see. So they think, okay, let me just keep it very mission readable. Okay, what happens? You will be completely de-indexed. Okay, there's another other thread that you're in. Generic FAQ schema. Okay, or fake how to mark up on sales pages. You see, all of this is like basically you are stuffing the page with excessive or even misleading structured data. So what you do is you're trying to trick the AI system to treat your content like an authoritative content. That's the second kind of, fourth kind of black hat trick that's been followed. Then finally, there's one more, which is like catching up. I've seen a lot of people do this. Create negative content. That's like, designed not to appear for them, for their competitors, like fake reviews, misleading comparison pages, scam alerts. A lot of these articles, hoping that AI will put the competitor down. Like, it will surface they're hoping that AI will pick up those negative reviews and surface it to the reader when they are trying to search, let's say, a competitor. And that way they are trying to make sure that the audience comes back to themselves, their software, their product, their service. What happens is you get a lot of legal exposure. You will have a backfire effect, a lot of legal issues that will pop up, where you will not be able to focus on SEO anymore. You'll only be focusing on legal issues. So these are the top 5 um, black hat say black hat SEO tricks and tips people are following just to come up on these LLMs. Okay. But what happens is all of this is going to create a lot of problems rather than solving it for you. You can see these are all the exile zone. You're basically mass producing content, fake EEAT, fake author profiles, trying to create that experience there, cloaking it, schema misuse, poisoning the SERP with negative reviews. All of these, they are literally in their exile zone. These statics, they're honestly free to try, but they're very carrier limiting. Okay, once you get caught doing all of this, you will be de-indexed. There are legal issues. See, the illusion of the speed only. You think you're going to get there somehow very quickly, but you really don't do that. Somewhere down the line you'll get caught. So what do we do? How do you so you don't want so you're asking you probably should be asking me this, so you don't want us to do any of this. So what do we do? So okay, so what do you do is I'm going to give you a very, very clear actionable framework that you can take away today. You don't even have to work with us. This is just what we do at Revv Growth also for all of our clients. Okay. This is basically becoming just to overcome all of these false things, false statics that you have been told or you have heard about. The only way to come out of this is being an undeniable best source of truth for your topic. Everything else should flow from that. Okay, that is one of the best way that you can get there, and you can withhold, you can be sustainable doing this. Okay, so now that you know the black hat techniques, let me go quickly into the white hat techniques that actually work for you. It takes time, it takes intention, but you will get results. So now let's talk about the 6 drivers of algorithmic extraction. So what should your content contain so that AI can easily extract uh, from your content and make sure that you come up on these AI answers. The first one could be access. Can AI platform see your content? Access is one, like, you have to allow crawlers, robots, in your robots.txt. You have to make sure you are able to allow the chatbot, GPT bot, Claude bot to actually access your website. That is one thing. Access is AI platform, any LLM even able to see your content. If you're blocking it or you're hiding pages, you're basically invisible. Next, extractability. Can an AI pull the useful passage out of your page? If you're having big paragraphs of content and somewhere there's value in between, it's very difficult for AI to extract that. Okay, so that's where question headings with direct answers actually really, really work well, because you're asking a question, who's how do you do this, and you basically tell the answer right after the question, which is your H2. You're just answering that directly without any fluff. AI can quickly pull it. Then you have authority. Does the system trust you? Do you have expert authors? Do you have backlinks? Do you have consistent mentions? All these kind of signals will actually show that you're a credible resource. Finally, then fourth is relevance. So now you're creating content. Does it actually map to what the buyers are usually asking you? You can write multiple things, but if they are not relevant to your business, you can still be, your answer will still be picked up by LLMs, but it does not do anything for your business, right? You would probably be picked up for an unintended keyword that does nothing for your business. So anyways, you're having wasted effort, wasted resources, wasted money. So make sure your content always maps to what your buyers are actually asking. Okay, not what you want to rank. The ranking you can get, but if you want to get into this AI, you have to map it to what your buyers are actually looking for. Then repetition. Are your claims reinforced somewhere else on the web? Basically, AI is trying to look for, okay, so is everybody agreeing to this point? If your story is only going to exist on your website, right, then AI does not think it is good enough to be picked up. If it appears everywhere else in reviews, communities, let's say other third party websites, industry publications, then there is a higher chance that AI is going to say, hey, this same piece of content or same intent is being showcased in multiple places. So might be this website is doing exactly what they're claiming to do. So that is a signal that AI picks up and your odds will improve dramatically. Okay, so the sixth and the final point is freshness. Okay, if you have stale examples, you have outdated data sources, old pricing, okay, all these will reduce your relevancy for time sensitive queries. If somebody is looking for some kind of, let's say, salary report 2026 for freelancers, and you are running a company that's kind of putting the freelancers and the other remote opportunities together, so you are that industry, so you need to have a recent report that kind of serves the purpose. Because somebody is asking in 2026, you cannot serve them a report that you did in 2023. So this is why freshness is one of the most important factor, uh, which will kind of put you on that AI radar. Okay, these six drivers actually determine whether you show up. Okay, now after this, let's go to the next slide. Now that you know about the six drivers, it's time we talk. Even before we go into the content part of it, it is time we talk about the technical foundation. Okay, the AI systems, if they cannot even access your content, right, at this point nothing else matters. You can do all the six part, whatever I told you earlier, and still if AI cannot access it, there's no point. There's nothing you can do. Okay, so the first thing is robots.txt. You have to go back to your robots.txt and check. Go to your site, yoursite.com/robots.txt. You need to explicitly make sure that you allow these bots, GPT bot, Claude bot, Perplexity bot, Google extended for AI features. See, make sure that your robots.txt has all of this. If you are blocking them, many sites, by default they do that. Then what happens is you're invisible to AI. That's pretty much it. Then there's, irrespective of you doing all the six features, you'll still be invisible. There's nothing you could do. Okay, that's one thing. Next. Next is the performance non-negotiables. These are a few non-negotiables you need to definitely have. You need to have a clean HTML structure with proper heading hierarchy. Fast page loads, like under 3 seconds, really good. Mobile responsiveness, that should also be good. And the other thing is you should not be hiding key content behind JavaScript. Like, don't gate your best content. Like AI cannot go out and fill those forms. So it should be easily retrievable for AI. So these are a few performance non-negotiables. Make sure you are not doing any of this so that AI can quickly retrieve your content. Then once you're done, there's schema markup. Okay, schema markup, you see, there's a lot of schema misuse that we covered in the black hat, right? So this is how you do correctly. See, FAQ schema is only for real FAQs. Okay, article schema with actual author names. Review schema you're having, then probably for verified customer reviews. Test it. Test it with Google's rich result. Test it to make sure it is correct and validated. Don't misuse the schema. Then what happened is you're basically doing the black hat SEO trick that we spoke about. Okay. After that, so when you do all of this, right, this itself sets the tech. This is the technical part of it. This would probably be covered in your technical audits itself, but this would actually set the stage for you to come up on the AI overviews pretty easily. Okay, so next, let's go. Structuring the single source of truth. Now we are going to be talking about content. Okay, so now that you know, okay, I know how to do SEO technical parts, the black hats, now we've even started with the white hats. I gave you the six most important factors. Now, what I've seen a lot of teams make this mistake. They try to run five separate strategies. They try to do one for AEO, one for GEO, one for social, one for pay. You don't need to do all of that. Okay, you need to have one structured kind of a strategy, and this is basically how it looks. Okay? You have to make sure you use natural language questions as strict thematic headings. Basically, uh, excuse me, you get these prompts like probably let's say best marketing agency in India. This is what you're getting. So that should be your question. That should be your heading itself. Okay, you should not be adding in more jargons to this, because that's not what is being picked up by AI. The more you add jargons to your headings, the more AI is going to skip it, because that's not even something that people are asking for. Okay, so you should be like very natural language question, like what is X, how does Y work, or why you should use A. See, this is the kind of questions that you should be using in your headers. Okay, break content into self-contained sections. See, usually AI looks for smaller chunks of like uh, content. Okay, so if you're saying, let's say, when should you use A, then you should directly answer the question right below that header, saying you should use A for the following, or you should use A when you have so and so, something that sort. Okay, that directly satisfies that question. Okay, see, each H2 itself, each headers itself should you should consider as a standalone answer. So imagine you have a lot more information you want to talk about that particular, let's say, how do you use A. Okay, the first 300 words should actually be able to satisfy the answer, and then you go deeper after that. Don't confuse the AI. Don't say something random. I've seen people write random things like, when for the question is how do you use A, there is random things like uh, if you think A is the most important part of doing this, then you're absolutely wrong, because you need to do B. See, these kind of things is fluff. Basically, it wastes the AI's time, it wastes your time. You don't even need that. So you should directly talk something like, okay, you should use A when uh, this happens, and this is the steps that you should follow, and then you talk about the steps in detail. Okay, so that's how you break content into self-contained sections. Restate the key point in multiple ways. Okay, the AI system basically they retrieve based on semantic footprint. Something like, see, saying something once is a single signal, it means something like that, but saying it in three different ways, three different contexts, they create multiple retrieval paths for the AI. So it's like you're saying, go to see, if you're going from point A to point B, you can go directly, you can go through another point C and then reach B, or you know there are multiple retrieval paths. That's how AI works. So when you're saying something only once, it becomes one retrieval path. But you're saying the same thing in three different ways, three different contexts, that creates multiple retrieval paths. Please understand, this is not repetition. I'm not asking you to repeat the same thing. I'm asking you bring some variation in this. Say it in three different ways, in three different contexts. That way, AI knows, okay, I'm not able to pick this way. I'll pick this way. And even this does not work, I'll pick the third way. That way, you are just opening up the opportunity for your answer to be picked up by AI in multiple parts. Okay. Next, use internal links that explain relationships, not like, hey, learn more, but learn, just don't say learn more. That's kind of really, really vague. It is nice, but at this point, people are going into more deeper relevancy. So you need to bring that kind of relevancy here. So you should probably say something like, um, learn why, let's say, ABM matters for manufacturing, something like that. Very use case driven. Okay, because then AI actually helps kind of pick these kind of content. When you say learn more, you stop with that. There is no more depth or detail to it. But when you put in information like this, learn why ABM matters to manufacturing, or learn why data governance, or see why data governance is important for fintech. So these kind of information puts those use cases in, and that way AI will understand, okay, there is topical adjacency here. That is, see, data governance, you can just say learn more about data governance, but at this point you're saying learn more about data governance for fintech, or there are use case driven. That way, data governance is not just for, it's just not a topic, but there is lot of places this data governance can be used. Okay, and then make it modular. Okay, your content, AI should be able to pull your content without needing to pull the entire page for context. See, it should be able to pull a part, and it's that single part should still make sense without needing the support of every other piece of content in your page. Okay, so these are a few ways with which, by structuring your entire content, you can make sure that AI picks up your answer pretty faster. Okay, so these are a these are a few conversational constraints that you can actually pick. See, always, this is also come up in the recent update that Google has shared. Creating not commodity content but non-commodity content. See, commodity content is a very natural, normal one. Let's say top 10 uses of ABM, or top 10 ABM use case, something like that. But non-commodity content becomes ABM use cases for fintech with less than 100 employees. You go into the details. Okay, so for those kind of content, you need this, which is human intel. You need to understand why people are buying, what do they care about. So interview your recent buyers, your customers, ask them what they like about it, why did they pick you or why they didn't pick you. Okay, this gives you the search behavior. This gives you can evaluate what they are searching about. Next, collect. See, this is another something that I'll run through at the end of this webinar. See, you have to know what kind of prompts you're being called for. Okay, you can exactly copy those prompts and try to rank for them. So how do you do that? I'll probably run that through towards the end of this webinar. But that's something you need to collect. You need to know for which prompts there is a possibility that you will be picked up. And this is not very difficult. Let's say I'm in a marketing agency, so I'll probably check marketing agency for organic growth in India. That could be one of the prompt, right? So I'm going to keep guessing, and I can in fact ask me what could be the other prompts that people will search a marketing agency for. I'll go back to AI and I'll try to find the prompts that way. But in more detail, I'll talk about it towards the end of the webinar. Then the third is pattern recognition. See, identify specific constraints like use cases. What is the repeating objection that's coming up within these prompts? This is just basically pattern recognition. Once you get the prompts, you run these prompts across the LLMs, collect the answers, okay, and you can collect all these answers in an Excel sheet, feed this Excel sheet into a Claude or a GPT, and ask it to recognize the pattern. It will do this so easily for you. You don't even have to break your head on this, and it will tell you, hey, this particular place, everybody is talking about this. This is a pattern that's been recurring across all the answers. It will give you that. You don't even have to break your head. And once you're able to identify what kind of use cases are being picked up by that prompt, what kind of objections are being picked up by those prompts, you then map it to a specific content module. It could be a blog page, it could be a landing page, it could be a piece of content introduced in your case study. That you'll have to do a strategic mapping of all of this conversational constraints. It could be about use case, it could be about objections. You'll have to be strategically mapping all of those into your content, and then this is a cycle that keeps going on. So now how do you make sure you have actual proven personas so that you are able to satisfy the EEAT for Google? Okay, so now what you do is you will first you should build a base layer, which is your verified byline. So don't write random things like written by marketing team, written by the growth team. Okay, AI models, they look at verifiable credentials. So more, let's say, written by Shalini Murthy, director of organic growth. You can add on written by Shalini Murthy, director of organic growth, 15 years in B2B SaaS. So all these kind of information gives AI a visibility that you are having experience, you are having verifiable credentials, and these are the kind of authors you have. Now on top of that is your second layer, which is your proprietary data or your original data. See, AI systems basically, they rely on primary sources. They heavily cite primary sources. So if you are the primary source, then you will be heavily cited. Let's say raw survey data, customer benchmark, any proprietary research that you have done. You have a proprietary framework, a playbook that only you have access to. That is also because that you have created that. That is your proprietary and original data. So AI will actually go ahead and make sure these kind of data, these kind of content gets picked up, and this will be showcased in AI answers. Okay, this is another way to ensure that AI is picking up your answers. Okay, now that you know, okay, so now I've given you how to create a good EEAT data, and then there is the second one is the original proprietary data. Now we're coming into external proofs. Okay, now external proofs is what fuels the retrieval engine. Okay, so now that you know that the first two layers is base layers, bylines, proprietary data. The third layer is your case study, granular case studies, followed by third party validations. Okay, see, this is more like an echo chamber. The more people talk about you, the more people keep telling your name across various let's say in industry publications you're coming up, review sites are talking about you, there are reports that are talking about you, so that creates a really web of authority that AI will probably not be able to miss. Okay, so then what it will do is it will start picking your content up, picking your name up across answers. Now don't give vague kind of success stories like in your case studies. Give number based success stories that you cannot nobody can say, hey, this is not something that they did. So let's say I've given an example, company X increased pipeline by 43%. So 43 is an irrefutable metric. Okay, and you have data to back it up. That's what comes in your third layer of granular case study. So when you're able to follow all of these four layers, okay, which is two within yourself and two more becomes an external proof kind of layers that will fuel the retrieval engine of the AI's retrieval engine, thereby picking your content more than picking any other or your competitors content. Okay, now next is authority decays rapidly without active freshness. Initially this was not a huge concern, but right now this is one of the most important factor that LLMs prefer. Okay, so imagine you're having a case study that was done in 2022. It's right now it's too stale. So now that you might ask me, it's a 2022 case study. So what could you probably do that retains its freshness, because you can't redo the case study. So what you can do instead is probably you can update the entire case study with updated traffic numbers. What is the current ranking? What's happened over a period of time because of something that you did earlier? Screenshots that's currently probably in 2025, 2026, AI citation examples. It could be anything. Let's just make sure you update the case study with relevant and freshest data that's possible. Algorithm preferences, AI models right now prefer most fresh and factual content. Okay, so what you could do is continuously inject current proof, update the benchmark, refresh timestamps. These are a few ways that you can always make sure your content is fresh, thereby gets picked up by LLMs. This is another thing where you become the echo chamber, where you become the AI echo chamber, which means you cannot have your source of truth only on your website. Distribution is one of the most important factor. It's always been an important factor even before LLMs, but right now with LLMs it is one of the most important factors. So you need to distribute your content. You can't be your own single source of truth. It's not wrong, but you might not get picked up. So you need to consistently build it or distribute your single source of truth across different uh, owned and shared medias. Owned is your website, probably borrowed medias could be LinkedIn. You can do posting, articles, thought leadership. Nothing. Not. I'm not talking about company page posts. Okay, that's not even something people are even looking into. Niche communities. Participate in Reddit, Discord groups, Slack groups. Talk about your specific industry. Okay. Then review platforms. You can build your review platform, G2, Capterra, Trustwarious. Then there are even review platforms for agencies. So build uh, your single source of truth across these platforms. So you probably would have already published a case study. Imagine the same uh, person you worked with is going and giving you a review on these review platforms. Then that actually signals LLM that, hey, they already have a case study and somebody else is also vouching for them. So yes, this is a good agency. Could be I'm talking about an agency. This could be across any software, any industry, any agency platform as well. So Then media ecosystem, podcast. Be a part of podcast. Be a part of webinars. Create your own podcast if you need to. Give out expert course. Be a subject matter expert in somebody's probably external articles. All these is kind of distributing your single source of truth across different platforms, which in turn will create your AI echo chamber. And that way, AI will start picking up your content more. So, but if you remember, I said there are four. There was a pyramid, and in the first pyramid, there was a baseline metrics measurement where you put the bylines. Okay. Then I said you need to build. You need to figure out what are the prompts you're coming up from. So, what you could do is this is how you basically build this. See, you establish 10 to 20 constraint based buyer prompt. For example, I've given an example Asana versus Monday.com for remote marketing teams. This could be one of the prompt. Okay. Now you need to first understand what kind of questions or what kind of questions will a person be looking out for when they are doing a vendor research. Let's say I'm in an agency, they'll probably be looking at Rev Growth versus some other agency, right? Or alternatives of agency X, could be some other agency, or we can even say, let me give you an example. We were working with one client, so we were doing all these overledge competitors, Atlin competitors, overledge versus Atlin. So these are all a few constraint based buyer prompts, because the buyer is actually in the consideration stage, they're going to purchase. So this is what they'll probably be looking at, or Atlin alternatives. So first establish what could be a 10 to 20 these kind of prompts. Okay, then run the prompts monthly across 4 environments. See, this whatever I'm telling you right now, right, this is a manual work. Okay, you do have paid tools for this. It's a little costly. If you have the means and measure to afford that, please go ahead and do it. If you do not have, this is a manual way that you can probably do. And once you find the prompts, then you run it across these 4 environments. GPT, you can get a prepaid one. Perplexity, Claude, AI overviews. Run these prompts across these environments and see, document your presence. Are you being mentioned? Are you having a citation? Are you completely absent? Who else is getting mentioned? And then you reverse engineer the source URLs. So you basically go, see, for example, you are coming up, then that's good. If you're not coming up, but your competitors are coming up, what blog are they coming up for? You basically go back to that source URL and find out what they are talking about that you have missed. See, this is a little longer process because this is a completely free process. This is a manual process as well. You have the money, please go buy, purchase tools. There are so many AI visibility tools that you can use. If you are a little well versed with coding, you can reverse engineer this entire thing. That's what we did at Revv Growth. What we did at Revv Growth was we created a tool using Claude tool, a Claude code, where we gave in a seed keyword, and with the to scrape Google AI overviews, the Google kind prompts that come up in Google, prompts that come up in GPT, and prompts that come up in Claude. We used API and we used data for SEO API to get all this detail along with the volume. Okay, so this was a custom tool that we created so that we were able to identify what are the prompts that come up for a single keyword. And then we kind of took those prompts and picked the relevant ones and added to our content without stuffing it. So this has been our reverse engineer tool that we did, and it's been working really well for us. So now that being said, this is how, so you do all of this. These are all a few methods that actually work very well. Once you start doing it, the first phase one, which is 4 to 8 weeks, is initial indexing. It will first verify, are you good enough? Okay. Verifiable citations will first appear. That could be highly specific, low competition, because you're basically not there. The first phase one would be that. Phase two, you will have a consistent presence. You will start appearing more as a technical and a reliable partner, because your content updates, whichever you're doing from 4 to 8 weeks, will right now be fully digested by LLMs, and you will start appearing. Phase three, which is 6 to 12 months, this is the compounding authority. What happens is your compounding effect takes place, your network effect takes hold. Meanwhile, while you go till 6 months, you should also work on your distribution. Now external distribution also solidifies. Okay, and now your brand will start appearing as a default high authority answer. Okay, so now this is how a generative engine and an answer engine optimization basically work. You need to have your source of truth. It needs to be modular, it should be structured, follow the best practices there, and then you map out natural language constant, not just keywords. Okay, just don't say the keywords. What are people actually searching for? You need to identify those and then map those as your headers, as I already told you, and then answer the headers properly in a small modular format, and then go deeper. And now you should also be able to put in real EEAT, which is like the pyramid one that I told you. Need to bring in actual verifiable data. So don't just get written by marketing team. Talk about the person and their experience. And with these two, you build topical authority, okay, and then citation tracking. So all of this together is the complete generative engine optimization architecture that really works. This is not, don't go into details depths of it, but this understanding this itself will help you get there quicker. Now see, we have used this, and here's the proof. We have come up, here we were working with Everstage. We have come up in Perplexity, and you can see how we have been answered in Perplexity. We have also come up in ChatGPT. We have worked with Mockflow, that was our client. And then we started even coming up on AI overviews. This was a client called as Mass Mailer. So you can see this was all for Mass Mailer. We started coming up on a lot of AI overviews. We started coming up on Perplexity as well for this. Yeah, here's a few more. Okay. So white hat AEO, or whatever framework that I told you, it delivers really good results. You need to make sure you are technically aligned, you have proper expertise. So with this, our clients itself were able to transition from, no, from we were nowhere to be seen to we were being built as a single source of truth. Within 6 months, we were able to bring our clients to that place. And I just showed a few of our proofs right now with you. So by following this particular framework, I'm sure you will be able to get your uh, software, your product, your agency, your industry on the LLMs. Finally, who are we? Why should we be the one talking about it, and why you should be listening to us? We are an agency. Okay, we are purposely built for these optimization engines. We rebranded ourselves. We have gotten our clients cited by GPT, Perplexity, Claude, AI overviews consistently and safely. We don't use any of these black hat techniques. We are strongly against that. We are built exclusively for B2B SaaS businesses. Okay, and we have a full stack execution. We will be able to help you with SEO, content, restructuring, semantic constraint, um, everything that you could think around LLMs to make sure you come up there. That's what we specialize in. So that is one reason why you should be listening to us, because we have been living this life so far. We've done it for clients, we've done it for ourselves, and we were able to build our business out of this. So with that, I'm going to wrap up my webinar. If you have any questions, yes, we would be having a Q&A at the end of it. You can go ahead and ask me that. But yes, thank you so much for listening to me patiently. Inakshi, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Shalini. This was a really insightful session, and we do have a couple of questions in the chat box.
Sure.
So I'll just so we'll take the first questions. The question is, why are AI citations becoming important for B2B companies? So can you please help us with the answer?
Yeah. See, as I pointed out earlier, right now nobody is going through the linear method of you rank, then people click on your website and they come into your website and they convert. Eventually they convert, if not everybody. But right now that linear method is broken. People are, even earlier it was not very linear, but at least it was predictable. But right now it is not even predictable. uh, AI platforms like GPT, Claude, Google AI overviews, they are increasingly influencing what people are actually looking for. So if you're looking for some vendor and you're searching in Google, it does not even let you get into a website. It basically answers you in the beginning, and it captures your attention right then and there. So you will not scroll down. Initially, the organic results were coming down in two scrolls. Now you need to go 4 5 times. You need to scroll to even see the organic results. So that is one important reason why you need to get into these AI citations, because otherwise you will not even be cited in those answers. You will lose visibility, and eventually you will be losing your conversion as well. That's why it's becoming very important for B2B businesses.
So the next question is, what type of content performs well in AI-driven search?
See, this has always been the same content that is valuable and it's very helpful for the reader, that always performs well. That being said, right now for LLMs you need to be structuring it really really well. Don't bury your core point, your answer within huge paragraphs that AI has to dig through to find your answer, because AI does not dig through to find these answers. It will probably stop picking your answer itself. So answer real buyer questions that people are asking. Don't assume that that's what people will ask. Do a little bit of research around your product or your service and see what are people actually asking. It's easy to find these questions. You can with people also ask coming up, then you can go find it in Reddit, even LinkedIn. People are asking all of these questions, so you just need to observe, find these real questions and answer them in your content. Use natural language headings like what is X, what is Y, why do you need X, these kind of questions, and directly answer them. The most important is demonstrate real expertise. Okay, just don't fake it. Don't think you can say something and get away with it. Make sure you are able to bring your expertise into it. If you are working for somebody else, if you are performing this activity on behalf of an agency or behalf of a let's say another industry or on behalf of another client, then what you need to do is you basically need to understand their sales call, get all of these information from them, their sales call, their natural assets, let's say product assets, okay, internal docs, understand all of this, get that experience, and you have to showcase that experience well. You don't have to live that experience, but your content should be able to showcase that experience. When you do all of that, then your content becomes very trustworthy and it automatically gets supported by external credibility signals.
All right, Shalini, thank you so much. I think we can take one more question for today. And the last question will be, how can companies improve their chances of being cited by AI engines?
Okay, so this was also told you. I'd probably say the same thing. Focus on building topical authority. Okay, publish structured content. It could be educational. It could be, you could target any part of the funnel, top of the funnel, bottom, or the middle. But make sure whatever funnel content that you're creating, you are able to back it up with real expertise, real experience. Um, Strengthen your technical foundation. That's most important. If you're just doing all of this without having a proper robots.txt itself, that kind of does not even solve the purpose. You would not be cited anyways. Try to earn third party mentions. Okay, that's again in a very if this is third party mention, you can do it automatically when you start publishing proprietary content, something that only you have experience with. Then people will automatically want to get on your list or they will start mentioning you. Okay, and consistently answer customers real questions. Just don't think they might not have it. Find those kind of prompts and use that in your content. You see, geo AO both work really well when your content, your technical SEO and your brand authority, all these three work together. That's how you can improve your chances of being cited by AI engines.
All right, Shalini, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing those insights, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We really hope this session give you a clearer perspective on how AI search is reshaping the visibility of B2B brands, and more importantly, what you can start doing about it. So if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be very happy to continue the conversation. And as I have already mentioned earlier, we'll also be sharing the recording of this session via email. So thank you again for being here and have a great day. And we'll see you soon in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.